Okay. What up, Don? Okay. You know what I'm saying? So why do you think they're calling it the dark winter ahead? It ain't got shit to do with this COVID, with this thing, with this so-called illness that's going around. It has nothing to do with that. They're fucking up the supply chain of all goods. I live in California. California is home of the largest and the most active ports in the world. From LA, from Long Beach, LA, Oakland, San Francisco, ports. Majority of imports from around the world come through California ports. When I tell you that there are hundreds of ships, when there are hundreds of ships holding goods sitting in the middle off the coastline of the Pacific Ocean, just sitting, not being unloaded, just sitting there. They are fucking up the supply chain of all goods. Okay? Shelves this winter are going to be slim pickings depending on where you live. Your grocery store shelves are going to be a little barren. I don't have the camera set up. I wish I did, so I can show you the pictures of all the tankers, shipping tankers that are sitting off the coastline of California. You ain't going to get me to believe you cannot unhaul those ships because you don't have workers. Longshoremen are some of the best paid unionized workers in America. Longshoremen. I got a cousin that's a longshoreman who's been a longshoreman since 1994. The motherfuckers in the early 90s was making over $100,000. The shit ain't did nothing but go up. So don't believe the lie when they tell you that they are short-staffed and they don't have enough workers to unload those fucking containers, because they do. It's bullshit. It is like they purposely said, we're going to get all those ships to sell out at the same time. We're going to get all these all this shit to sell out and we're going to overwhelm the fucking ports. We're going to overwhelm the ports. J1, when I tell you that they got hundreds of boats, they ain't even boats, you big ass shipping containers full of goods, all that shit is about to rot. All that food, all that shit is about to rot. It's going to be lost. That is devastating to the supply chain in America. So when you hear them using key phrases like dark winter, that's the shit they're talking about. They gonna tell you it's because of this thing, this virus, this variant, and all this bullshit. Nah, man. They doing this shit on purpose. They want to create pain. They want American citizens to feel pain. So people can be to say, I need it to stop. How do you stop it? We want it to stop. And then they're going to give you the answer. They're going to say, well, you got to agree. You have to adhere to X, Y, and Z. This is how you make it stop. They create the pain to bring the solution. You know what I'm saying? And while they doing it, they making a ton of money. And while they doing these things, they're building their fuck you walls. Build yours. Get your fuck you money and build your fuck you wall for you and yours. Because they doing it. It's not a game when I say that. Because if you haven't set yourself up, it's gonna be difficult out here. You seen this, Miss Hudson? You seen them? You see what I'm talking about? She said it's true. It's no joke. I mean, Rich Gagal. You seen them, right? You seen that? You seen those boats? All that shit off the California coastline. Like I said, from San Francisco all the way to Long Beach. And he ain't even reporting on that shit. It is amazing. That's how you know, because they know people will start to prepare for it. They want to catch everybody off guard. And they about to hit motherfuckers with the inflation. The Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, just came out last week. I told you when they told that lie about transitory inflation. I told you that shit was a joke. Cost of goods are about to go sky high because they are fucking up the supply chain, and so it's going to be scarcity. You see what I'm saying? They're creating scarcity, and literally scarcity to scare people. So now they've changed their shit from transitory inflation to inflation that's going to be here for a while. You're going to feel the pinch. You're going to feel that shit in your pockets. Not to mention, supposedly, America is at the cusp of the first time in history that they will not pay their debt. They are doing this shit purposely. If America defaults on its debt, it loses its grading in the world. The dollar starts to lose its purchasing power significantly when a country cannot pay its debt. That hurts common folk. That hurt everyday people. It don't hurt people who got cash reserves. It don't hurt people who own brick and mortars, who own real estate. It don't hurt them. It hurt everyday people. All right. Rich Gagal said, I'm a part of the CSA, the Community Supported Agriculture in my neighborhood. We buy shares in our local farm. That's a beautiful thing, baby. That's a beautiful thing. That's what the woman was talking about on the tape I was playing, the hour thing I was playing. I built that here in this complex here. I built this in the condos here. I built a fucking I call it a victory garden. Probably need to change it to Freedom Garden. So what that shit called, the homeowners association allowed me to dig out and carve out a plot in a large enough spot where other people who live here can then form their own plots, and boom, 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 and so now everybody who here, anybody who want to go and eat from it can. You know what I'm saying? I'm not charging. Nobody's charging. It's just something that I thought I wanted to do, and I thought it needed to be done. It should be done. People should have this. They should know what it's like to eat fresh, good shit. You know what I'm saying? And there was just so much empty space that I was like, that's what we should do. But that's what she was talking about. Wherever you are, create some level of some type of community if you can, even if that's just between you and your partners, you and your folks, you and your homegirls. Whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm with that. So yeah. What up, She-Doc? She-Doc in the building. She-Doc said, been prepared for the mark of the beast since 1983. I know that's right. Says George Orwell and Aldous Huxley warned close to 100 years ago. Yeah, man, they've been slowly doing it. So let me read this to you. Ooh, here we go. It's getting so bad, y'all. It's getting so bad that the Dollar Tree is forced to abandon its $1 price cap because of inflation. You know something off when the dollar store got to say, we can't even really use that moniker. Everything is going up. The dollar store. Said inflation forces a major change to Dollar Tree stores as the company is known for its low prices will begin to increase them. The store, which made its name offering goods for $1 or less, will now sell all of its items for $1.25 to $1.50 and up. CEO Michael Wisniewski said of Dollar Tree, we recognize the need to make adjustments in the current economic environment. Ask me again why inflation occurs. Why does inflation occur? For one, the Fed pumps so much money into circulation through stimulus, right? So you got all this money, all this money, supposedly, right? That makes prices jump. But here's the kicker. That money, those dollars, that shit went up fast. That shit wasn't really maintaining nobody. You're not going to be able to stack off of fucking unemployment and $1,400 stimulus checks here and there. You can't ball off of that. Now, if you was getting PPE loans and shit like that, that's a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? That meant you was getting a couple of $100,000, whatever the case may be, and stuff like that. But even those people are starting to feel the wrath of that because they coming for their heads. So you pump all this money into the market, and then you create scarcity, right? So when there's high demand, prices go up. So you see it, they literally created double inflation, y'all. They created double inflation. Because again, they fucked up the supply chain. It's the wildest shit I've ever seen. And it's not going to hit for a while. It's on its way. You know what I'm saying? The shit's on its way. Because if they can't unload those ships again, and unfortunately, America gets a lot of shit from overseas, even food. Even though we can produce everything in this country, they still have international trade agreements with other countries. Shit comes from Canada. Shit comes from Mexico. Shit comes from Vietnam. Shit comes from China. All those things. We're still globalized in that sense. And it would take months. It would take months to build the infrastructure to then become self-sustaining as a country. They can't build that shit in enough time. Can't build all that. You can't raise enough chickens, per se, to go ahead and feed a nation. Not when you get like 25% of your chicken from China. When you know what I'm saying? When you get particular amounts of goods, when you get majority of your dairy product comes from Canada. So, again, that shit spoils, it creates scarcity, high demand, inflation, hella money in circulation. But only for those now who really got money, not for everyday people. They hurting, and they did that shit on purpose. You mean to tell me, if you knew people were still really out here hurting, Why would you cut off them folks' unemployment? Tell me why. They doing it purposefully. They doing it on purpose. So you got that, right? So that's why it's going to be a dark winter. Okay? That's why it's going to be a dark winter. What up, Jael? Yeah, they claiming broke. No doubt about it. Oh, man. It's crazy. You're talking about they about to default on their shit. They about to go default for the first time in this country's history, possibly. So, like I said, that was all a part of the plan to bring America down to her knees. And so then you got these people, and then I say both sides. It ain't just Democrats, because you got conservatives. You got they all in it. Half of them is all in it together. They want to bring about this new fucking society. So trust and believe. One part looks like they're total power with your Democrats, but I mean, shit, to be honest, Republicans couldn't stop what they're trying to do if they wanted to, because they have majority. Only thing they got to do is push it through reconciliation, which is what they're going to do. They're gonna push the shit through reconciliation. They don't have to have a Republican vote. Only thing they got to do is get two of their outlying Democrats to vote, which is Joe Manchin and most likely that other broad, I forget her name, to go along with it, which they will. Again, that's why we gonna tap into some of this bill. Like I said, we about to do a 2,000 part series on this fucking Build Back Better bill that they got out here, because there's so much shit going on inside of that bill. It is the changing of America. And they know people won't read it. They know people don't have. I told y'all, the goddamn attention span is been clocked that people have attention span of like between 3 and 7 seconds. So who gonna read a 2,400 page document? I will. We have a talk show. We have a radio show. And we have 4 hours. So we can do it. We can do it. You know what I'm saying? What up over there in YouTube land? What's good, everybody over there on Lockdown Radio again? Make sure y'all go over there, subscribe, tell your friends about it, tell your folks about it. So tap on in to Lockdown Radio again over there on YouTube. What's up with your A Dot? I see A Dot Manifesto is in the building. Boss Lady, Young Black and Ambitious. I see my man Raymond Ricks is over there too. What's good, y'all? I see everybody I can't see that it's not chatting. It's good to see y'all too. Well, that's what's good. That's what's up. Good to see you tonight. But yeah. So here we go. Let me tap into it. So Jamie Dimon, who's the head of the J.P. Morgan Chase, says this. It says J.P. Morgan has begun preparing for the possibility that the United States hits its debt ceiling. Chief Executive Jamie Dimon told Reuters on Tuesday, adding he nevertheless expected policymakers to find a solution to avoid potential catastrophic event. They will come. They're going to they're going to raise the debt ceiling. The country's largest lender has begun scenario planning for how a potential U.S. credit default would affect the repo and money markets, client contracts, its capital ratios, and how ratings agencies would react. Dan Dimon says this is like the third time we've had to do this. It is a potentially catastrophic event. Every single time it comes up, it gets fixed. But we should never even get this close. I just think this whole thing is mistaken, and one day should be have a bipartisan bill to get rid of the debt ceiling. It's all politics. So here we go. They want to get rid of the debt ceiling, y'all. So what happens? What happens when you got an unlimited credit card that has no ceiling? What happens when you have no debt ceiling? You run it up. You print. You run it up. Run it up. So when the dollar crashes, they can institute the new monetary system. The reason why you have a debt ceiling is because you want people to spend responsibly. Okay? You want people to spend responsibly. This is why you have a debt ceiling. But they getting ready to put a 3.5 all the way damn near up to $6 trillion bill that will transform America. But again, people don't even know what's in that shit. They got other mandates in this fucking bill. Because you got to understand, this is what they did. H.R. 1 and H.R. 4. Remember, we read here on Hot Damn Politics H.R. 1, which was the voting, like that John Lewis Act shit. None of that could pass as a standalone bill. None of those things could pass as a standalone bill because once we read it and we saw what was in there, we see what they were trying to do. They were trying to fortify all the things that they illegally changed during the last election cycle and make it permanent. That was one of the things they were doing in that. Okay? So they really couldn't pass those bills as standalone, so they said, fuck it. We'll restructure it, we'll change the language, and we'll put it in the reconciliation bill. We'll put it in the this $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. Okay? You know, also only about 10% of the budget actually is going to roads, bridges, and shit like that, and actual infrastructure. The rest of that shit is what they call human infrastructure. Human infrastructure. That is to construct a whole new way of life for Americans. It's wild. So we're going to tap into that. Let me finish this real quick, this little part. It says, he's saying let's just get rid of the debt ceiling. This is coming from a banker. Get rid of the debt ceiling. I wish Chase would just fucking get rid of the debt ceiling on a business card. Make that shit unlimited then. We'll see if I pay you back. But see, them loans you giving out, you ain't going to just say it's unlimited. You just tell me what you want and I give it to you. That's how they operate. But they want the federal government to operate like that because, they all in it together. Those higher-ups, all those institutions, they with the shits. Because they know they're going to play their integral part too. They're going to be able to keep their way of life going, regardless of what happens to the peasants. That new shit they got for the peasants. Like Klaus said, you'll have nothing and you'll be happy. You'll have nothing, you'll own nothing, and you will be happy. So they about to create such a life of illusion and delusion for people that they don't care what's really has happened to them. That if we really thought it was a prison planet, it's about to become that times two. It's going to be a max pen. Max penitentiary. And the people going to be all right with it. Because they'll keep you distracted. You'll have no reason to strive for anything higher than what you have because it's all good. Why should I? They keep you real comfortable. If you keep people extremely, extremely comfortable, they have no reason to stretch themselves to go beyond what they already have. Again, what did I say? People don't like resistance. So all resistance of striving is gone. So they'll be all right with this shit. Says congressional Democrats are scrambling to find a way to raise the government's $2.4 trillion borrowing cap before the Treasury Department runs out of means to service the national debt. Who owns that debt, y'all? Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has said that the Treasury will likely exhaust extraordinary measures by October 18th. Democrats have prepared votes to head off a government shutdown and a potentially economically crippling U.S. Hold on. Hold on 1 second for me. Goddamn, hold on. My show. Call you after. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Yeah. What she say? Democrats have prepared votes to head off a government shutdown and potentially economically crippling U.S. credit default. But a quick resolution appears unlikely in the face of continued Republican resistance. This is why I said y'all together on it. If they let that shit fall and that shit go into default, they wanted that to happen. Okay. Right. Says fiscal brinkmanship has become a regular feature in U.S. politics over the past decade, thanks to ongoing partisan polarization, with debt ceiling deals coming down to the wire since in 2011 and 2017. But yeah, so I'm saying they want that shit to happen. Yeah. Who said Hunger Games? She-Doc said, Hunger Games! Right. I've never seen Hunger Games. You know that? I've never watched any of those movies. Maybe it's time that I should. I've never seen Hunger Games. I usually don't jump on what everybody say is the shit, for the most part. And then if I do watch it, then I watch it really late, like the Game of Thrones. We got up on that really, really late in the game. Everybody had already become fanatical with that. And then I watched it really, really later, many years later. But yeah. Come on in here, Mr. Lowry. You got Mr. Lowry in the building. Come on in here.
All right.
My brother
Great day.
What's up?
Neff, how are you? How's
I'm doing great. Good. No, I don't have any complaints. I mean, I could. I'm sure I can find some, but, all is well in the land.
Ain't no sense in complaining now.
Right.
It's too late to apologize. It's too late to complain now. We're in it. We're in the
thick of it, baby. In the thick of it.
We got this new thing going. Like when you move, I move. That's ludicrous. When you move, I move.
Just like that.
That's where we at right now, man. Mm-hmm. When they move, we move, man. Like who's going to make the next move? That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about this debt ceiling thing. I was listening to you. Yeah, man, they scare us with this every year. Yeah. It ain't like you could pay $100 trillion debt off anyway. Who they think they fooling and shit? Like, do we gotta go through this every year? Aren't we already 80 trillion in debt as it is now, man? They're going to send us into hyperinflation, as you.
Yeah, I was talking about that before you came on. I said, definitely hyperinflation.
Yeah,
you see all the ships on the coastline of California at all the ports just sitting, all in the ocean off the coastline. You see that shit?
Yeah. I've heard we're having supply chain disruptions, and all this is going to go into hyperinflation. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're about to crash the dollar. Dark winter is what it is.
That's what that is. It ain't got shit to do with COVID.
It ain't got. I mean, like, what are you trying to borrow $6 trillion got to do with COVID? I mean, like, goddamn, y'all.
Right.
$6 trillion. That's on top of $4 they already spent in this year. That's $10 trillion on top of the $10 trillion they did the year before that. I mean, these people are spending trillions, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a couple of $100 or something.
Yeah.
It's gonna collapse. They did that in Germany. They call it modern monetary theory. That's what they call it.
Modern monetary theory, right?
Yeah, that you can just print money indefinitely. That's not connected to anything, not services, not goods, not metals, not anything.
Oh, I should know it's all
print money on demand. Yeah.
Krugman was explaining that. That's
that modern. They try to give things modern names now. Like that's supposed to be the new hip thing, modern. That's that same shit Hitler did. That it was before Hitler. That's what led to Hitler, really. When in Weimar Germany, when they collapsed, that's what they were doing. They had seized control and just started printing money on demand. And before you know it, the money was absolutely worth it. It was too disconnected from what you actually had out there. You know, you dumping trillions and trillions, and you don't have trillions worth of goods and services that can absorb that money. It becomes worthless. It becomes excess. Yeah. So it's interesting to see. They will eventually lift the debt ceiling. I mean, you and I both know if you're over there on that hill, you know, all of those people are strange bedfellows. So, you know, whatever their interest is to keep raising the debt limit, they will make sure those interests are met.
Right. I don't know if you heard me reading the head of Chase said just get rid of it altogether. Get rid of the debt ceiling. So that's the modern monetary theory. Just get rid of it. It says this is what the modern monetary theory is. It's the rise of economics who say huge government debt is not a problem. It says there is no limit to the quantity of money that can be created by a central bank such as the Bank of England. It was different in the days of the gold standard when central banks were restrained by the promise to redeem their money for gold on demand. But countries moved away from this system in the early part of the 20th century, and central banks nowadays can issue as much money as they like. This observation is the root of modern monetary theory, MMT, which has attracted new attention during this pandemic, you don't say. As governments around the world increase spending and public debt becomes all the more burdensome. MMT proponents argue that governments can spend as necessary on all desirable causes, reducing unemployment, green energy, better health care, education, without worrying about paying for it with higher taxes or increased borrowing. Instead, they can pay using new money from their central bank. The only limit, according to this view, is if inflation starts to rise, which case the solution is to increase taxes. Okay, let's go from there. Just go from there.
Okay.
So they said the only limit is inflation. Inflation is already here. So again, like you've been saying previously, hyperinflation could be on the way, right? So then they're going to have to break their promise of taxing the rich. This is why I was telling you that whole shtick was bullshit. Let's tax the rich. Let's tax the rich. The rich, the 1%ers, you couldn't tax them enough. You can tax them at a 90% clip, and it still would not be able to afford to pay for the services that they're putting out, the money that they're spending. You can't do that with just the 1%ers. Even they don't have enough money that you can tax. And that's if you tax at a 90% clip. That means everybody, they're going to be taking right out your pockets. Everybody. Everybody. Don't let them lie to you and have you thinking that it's just going to be Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger and all. No. It's me, you, and anybody they can get that shit on. And this is why they want to go all digital. Because you won't have to file a goddamn thing. They just take it straight out of the bank. Just take it right off the top. Like real gangsters. That's what real gangsters do. They come in your damn place of business and say, we need that. We need it right now or you won't be able to operate. Give us that shit. Or right off. Gangsters take it off the top. That's what they're talking about. This is why they want everybody connected electronically. And here's just a preview. Old man Joe sat up there and said, I promise anybody making less than $400,000, we're not going to tax you. You will not be taxed. Ain't that what he said, Mr. Lowry? Anybody making under 400, right?
Yeah.
Shit won't go up. Well, the Treasury Department now seeks to track financial transactions in all personal accounts over $600.
Mm-hmm.
What? 600?
Over $600.
You mean everyday people? I thought it was just about the rich.
Mm-hmm.
Why you want to follow my cash flow of my little funky money? I'm just, I'm a little person.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. And he getting away. And the people who rolled with this fool are not even complaining about it because they got egg on their face. They got egg on their face. He's shitting and they got their mouths wide open. People didn't even know that this shit even got through. This got through the last CARES Act bill. The CARES Act 2, this shit was written in. See what I'm saying? People don't be knowing shit. They don't read. They don't know. They just now catching on. I had Star Child hit me up. She texted me. She was like, you know about this 600 shit? $600? I'm like, yeah. That means they want to record. They want to tax and get a piece of every transaction. So all you Cash App lovers, all you hoes getting Cash App for that ass, they want that money too. Shit, this must be important. Can you keep it going for me, Mr. Lowry? You don't mind?
I mean, nephew, you raise a good point. People are just, I don't want to seem condescending, but we just got a lot of ignorant, stupid people out there, in the truest sense of the word. Not to say they bad or good people, but we just got a lot of stupid people out there. And when you're dealing with a situation with an overabundance of ignorant people, they could just tell you anything. It didn't take a rocket science to hear some of the things that they were saying and to read between the lines and to call bullshit when you call bullshit. I don't know what they was expecting for this guy, when he got up in the office. I mean, like, goddamn, y'all seen his son laptop and shit. His son going around shaking down the whole world for narcotics so he can, do while underage international girls and babies and breaking his father off. What did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen when people knew the man was on tape? He'd been on tape for many, many years now. Well, he's just going to get in the office and then all of a sudden say, screw everybody. I've been shaken down. And I'm just going to, do what the American people want me to do. That writing was on the ball. And we ain't need Donald Trump to tell us this shit was going to happen. It was good to have somebody, up in those circles to halfway say something, but we ain't need to have Donald Trump telling them that, this road we're going down got screwed all over it. And that's definitely, where it is right now. And it's bad when your money situation right now is probably the least of our goddamn worries because of all the other surrounding crazy ass stuff that they coming out the woodworks with. Sending the National Guard into these goddamn hospitals and stuff like that, man. This is like a military takeover of the population, of the civilian population, is what it's looking like. But what did people expect? To all my Bible readers out there, they have fought too, because the Bible told you. The Bible said that we was going to confound the rich and powerful. I was going to take my knowledge and give it to the foolish babies of the world. And I was going to take them and confound all of these motherfuckers. But what did people do? They listened to the goddamn experts, the same experts that book condemned. The book tell you. I'm not with them. The book told you all of that stuff. Now, if your preacher didn't tell you that shit, I don't even know what to tell you. Go find another church where your preacher is actually telling you what's in the book that he said that he believed in. I mean, some of this stuff is so obvious. What you got there? It's been evident. We hold these truths to be self-evident. You know what I mean? Some truths are just goddamn self-evident. And it was self-evident that these people was running the con of the century. Whenever you end up with a Kamala Harris, and her ass didn't even make it out the starting gate of the primaries. They had like 20 people running for the Democrat nomination, and her ass ranked 20 out of 20. And in that 20, you had, the Buttigieg? You had Beto O'Rourke, the dude standing on tables and shit. You had Elizabeth Warren, the lady who cheated the school system, talking about she was Indian and come to find out she had less Indian than anybody walking in the United States in her ass. You got Bernie Sanders. Back in my day, we used to look at Bernie as the goddamn crazy communist guy. And this is who she was running against, but then end up as the second in command. So what did people expect to happen? So when they sat up there and told us, we're not going to raise taxes on anybody making $400,000, then they turn around, got a multi-trillion-dollar tax package. They're going to start looking at your banking accounts from 600, and if it's 600, I mean, they looking at everything. They looking at your Cash App. They looking at that, your banking accounts, and you're going to have to account for every dime that you're spending.
Yes. No more side hustles for you niggas. No more under the table cash for y'all.
The side hustle is out there because they taking cash out the picture. Cash is damn near out the picture now. The cash is worthless. When they talk about dumping $10 trillion, motherfucker, yeah, your cash is worthless. So everything they said that they wasn't going to do, they did.
Did it. Oh, man. Right in their faces, Mr. Larry.
And Ray Charles could have seen that shit was going to happen. Ray Charles could have seen that was going to happen. But see, now, let's go ahead with it, because, like, as a people, we're just so fucking hooked up in idol worship that it don't make no goddamn sense that they can just prop anybody up in front of people. And people lap that shit up.
Yeah.
So lap that bank account up. Have more money in that account than Biden say you should have. And they're going to come take your shit.
Come take it. Okay?
Going to come take it.
It says the Treasury Department released the Biden administration revenue proposal for the fiscal year 2022. One aspect of this document that has gone underreported, I wonder why, is the administration's new plan for reporting requirements for financial institutions. The document is unequivocal about the administration's goal for financial reporting, stating this proposal would create a comprehensive financial account information reporting regime. Now, see, people just like being lied to. They told you they was only trying to find out how the rich was moving their money and where they were moving their money to. But you're tracking shit starting at $600 and not $600,000. If it's about the rich, for real, if it's about the rich, why are you starting as low as 600? Wealthy people move money by the millions, by the hundreds of thousands, by the millions, tens of millions when they're doing transactions. And one money's flowing to and for off seas and within the borders. The Biden administration goal here is to increase tax revenue by making sure no income avoids detection. You see, again, $600? He lied to you. He lied. Like Oshun said, in defense. Hakeem from Coming to America. In defense. Right in his face, he lied. And all them people was just cheering, yay, tax the rich, tax the rich. No, they was coming for your ass.
I mean, come on now. How that shit sound, the rich people telling you to tax the rich, so he gonna tax himself? Nobody does that. I wouldn't, to be honest.
Right.
How many lootings since I control the law? Let me write me some loopholes up in here. We'll tax y'all. How about that? But it's just amazing the flip-flopping these guys are doing.
Keep it going for me, Larry. Keep it going for you.
Yeah, it's just real amazing that the flip-flop, these people, like, this is what you call across the board flip-flop. Like, we can run this show really, man, to 3-4 in the morning on how many different flip-flops these people don't flip-flop on. I mean, I ain't never seen so much. This is open flip-flopping. Usually they try to be slick when they flip-flop it and they dice it up with fancy words. People don't really understand that shit, right? But this stuff right here is plain and simple, in your face flip-flopping. So now they're going to tax everybody. They want to tax every dime that they get. Really, that's an issue of control. What they want to do is track and see how much money is coming in and out, so that when we put your ass on a digital universal income, we will already have the expectation of what it takes for you to survive, because I'm going to be monitoring all of your transactions real time. And this is just as ridiculous, but again, as Neff said, a lot of this stuff, I expected to have a hard way to go, but damn, this stuff is or next level hard way to go. They're gonna track us for $600, but then they're gonna get up there and hold the whole country hostage until the American people approve them a $6 trillion bill. $6 trillion. Shut down everything. Shut down the government. Hell, we shut them down last year. Just shut it all down until we can just print money indefinitely for us. But for them, we need to have an account for everything that's coming in and out of their bank account. Ladies and gentlemen, this shit is about liberty. Give me liberty or give me death is where it is right now, because these people are fucking around, and we ain't never, it's always been some measure of control, but at least in America, we have been under the illusion, like that was a good illusion. You know, I got some sort of freedom. I could walk the motherfucking 7-Eleven without, you know, being all on facial recognition and stuff like that. So it was cool to have that level of a delusion of some type of liberty. Like, man, God damn, these people talking about revoking every civil liberty that I've known since I've been living. That's what they talking about. When has it been okay for the government to arbitrarily go into your banking? And they've been doing it. Like, you know, people get locked up for RICO every day. They've been doing the shit. But they've been doing it clandestine. You know, they got to lock you up or have a reason to do it. Now they're about to make it lawful for the government now to go into your personal transactions. It is not going to stop at the banking account. It's going to go to your credit card, to the people who get like the monthly cards. They're called different things at different places, but they got the monthly government card to load up their money. They're going to track you. Then they're going to tell you where you can and can't spend your public dollars. I mean, this stuff right here is ridiculous. And the bad part about it is, folks, we're not even a year into this new regime. We're ways off. I guess a few months, January or whenever the hell it was when the man was fake inaugurated into office, but we're not even a year in. People were talking about, well, 2022 is coming. We got to get them out of office in 2022. Man, if we have anything called or what we used to think was a country in 2022, you know, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of people are just going to be slow walked right into a brick wall. Those of us who we have it within our personal selves to keep up on these things, we have some measure of protection because we are aware. But then, like, goddamn, I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse to be aware of all this shit that's going down. You know, so they're going to go into our banking accounts now. So please be very careful, you know, with your cash apps and stuff like that, because the government will now be able, you know, to track that stuff. So if they know how much you making, they know how much you can spend. And they're going to start and put things in place to eat up our excess savings, because socialists don't like savings. That's why they like taxes, because that's what taxes do. It eats up your excess. It eats up your capital gains. Even if your labor is your product and you got a job, and at the end of the year, you're able to stack and stack until you can go out there on your own or whatever. By them monitoring your account, they now have the means to now attach your excess, your capital gains, your savings, so to speak. Because that's what they want to attack. That's where they're going. They want to make it so you can't say no money.
Right. Yeah. Did you hear what Yellen said about capital gains? Unrealized gains? Did you hear what she said?
No, what did Yellen say?
She said unrealized gains should be seen as income. Unrealized gains should be seen as income. Do y'all understand what I'm saying when I say unrealized gains, y'all? No, I know you know, but I'm asking the folks who are listening. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say unrealized gains? That they want that to be seen as income. That means if you have equity, if you have a business, if you got a house, and you got equity, they want to charge it as income. And you don't even have that money. It's unrealized gains. You can't collect on it until you cash out on it. But they're saying, fuck that. We want more right now. Just because you holding it. That's fucking crazy. That
means it's criminal.
Man, they want to tax your potential. That's what they're doing. They're taxing your potential of what you can have.
Right.
Woo! I said, I be like, I'm saying to myself, I don't think people are even hearing what the words that are coming out of these people's mouths. What Don be saying? I love what she say. Soom boom 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 room coom. Whatever she say, Dr. York, you say like dumb, deaf, and blind. Soom boom 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 boom. They're that shit. They dumb, deaf, and blind. They say this shit out in the open. They say it out in the open with no hesitation, and people don't even blink an eye. They think that's for some other people. They see that as, that ain't going to affect me. That's for people who got shit. No, so you will never have shit.
Right. And what you think you have is one big ass fucking illusion.
Right.
Because they just confiscating shit left and right now. Like what you thought you had. I just sat with my accountant today. Okay, here go the rules. Are like, what do you mean? This is a rule? What are you talking about? Well, we can't say for sure, but so what you thought you have, you still have it. But these people on the street, they just grabbing everything in sight. So who's to say what tomorrow will bring? Yeah.
They want to tax unrealized gains, y'all. Y'all don't hear me, though. It says unrealized gains is a profit that exists on paper, resulting from an investment.
Yeah.
It is a profitable position that has yet to be sold in return for cash, such as stock. And this is why I get mad, because people who are not economically advanced will say, I don't care. Go do that shit. Go, fine. That's for people who actually making moves. Well, trust and believe, you're going to be locked out of the game forever. They're going to make sure TikTok game is locked. So, yeah, people don't get it. It stifles, it stagnates their earning potential. And they don't realize that. It stagnates their own earning potential, future earnings.
And they gonna be gypping people. And they gonna gyp you, man. Like, I'm gonna tax you on what I'm saying that you should gain at some future point. Okay, so what happened if it don't happen? What happened if it don't happen? I get this stock. Of course, the prospectus is trying to sell me the stock. So you're gonna get 10% over 5 years. That's what that paper say. I get taxed at 10%. The goddamn stock come in at 2.5. Typical Ponzi scheme. The shit didn't work like they told me it was going to work. I only got 2%, but they taxed me at 10%. That's negative 8%. 7.5. That's negative. Right? Mm-hmm. So that negative means that's coming out of my stash, right?
Man,
I'm not playing with it.
People don't get it. It's like when you go buy a property. Say you went to go buy a property under market value, right? Say you bought it 40% under market value, right? The market value is 100,000. You bought it for 60. Well, you got 40,000 in unrealized gains. That's your equity in the investment that you made. They're going to tax you on the money that you don't even possess.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They're stagnating your potential earnings. That's not cool. And if you are a person who's trying to climb a ladder, trying to get yourself in better position, you think it's take forever now, depending on what you do. It's gonna take.
You'll never get there.
Oh man.
You'll never. They're taking away your ability. That's what it's all about. They got greedy. They went for the glow. You know, people get greedy. Enough is fucking never enough for some people. So they want the whole damn world. That shit collapsed. It didn't work because you opened it up so much.
Right.
Now, like the music industry.
Okay.
Right? They opened it up so much that we figured out that all I gotta do is put my mixtape on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a record contract. Man, they don't sell CDs no more. No,
right.
The whole, remember, your stream. You had to go through. Remember back in the day, man, I got a contract with Warner Brothers. You was the biggest thing on cap. But nobody give a fuck about getting a contract with Warner Brothers now. You see what I'm saying? Because it spread it. It put them out of business. The same thing happened on a global scale, and these bastards are picking up all the marbles and going in the house and shutting the game down. You know,
they shit. That's right.
Now, if you used to play Madden, it was always that one motherfucker that you start beating on Madden, and he want to get mad, start fighting. You know what I mean? He ruins the whole Madden party.
It was my cousin Jay Hutton. Okay, that was him. We be playing. We used to play tournament style. We be over there 6 deep playing Madden, and you know, I'm kicking his ass or somebody kicking his ass. He get mad, and after his game, he want to go home. Ain't nobody else. You shutting the shit down. I'm going home. Like, nigga, we got like 3 other games scheduled.
Get my cartridge.
Right.
Or whatever it is.
You punk bitch.
Well, I'm taking my controller with me. Man, look, we only got 2 of this mine. I'm going home. That's what these people are doing, man. They taking all the marbles away. That's what it is.
People don't. And I just get frustrated. It pisses me off because everyday folk don't get it. They don't see that. They think that it's not going to affect them. And that's where they're also wrong.
Well, you know where I'm at with it now. The things I done saw and been through from these eyes, man, it's rough. But I tell you, it's been very rewarding too. If a person ain't got it by now, they ain't gonna get it. I'm sorry. If they ain't got it by now, they not gonna get it.
This is why I always scream financial literacy. Because I'm amazed how people do not know economics 101, who don't know the ins and outs of their own economic system. They don't get it. And I'm going to give you a prime example. I was on a thread a couple of days ago, and it was about hospitals and COVID and shit like that. And somebody had said something about federal and state hospitals. And about their money and something. I said, you do realize that state hospitals and federal hospitals are funded by the taxpayers.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many laughing emojis these motherfuckers put on that comment? I said, they really that fucking stupid? How do you not know that those are federally funded hospitals, federal funds that come from the taxpayer?
Mm-hmm.
But people, but they thought that was funny. Like, I didn't know what the fuck I was talking about. But that's how far gone they are. Or they have, like, no real knowledge base on how shit is ran.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, see, when they got a dumb-ass population like that, politicians know they can say anything, and people are going to believe it.
Mm-hmm.
They can say anything. They go, okay, all right. I sound about right. Like, they get federal budgets, people. I said, God damn, Americans are fucking stupid.
We screwed. Unless there's by some miracle, because you got a great many great people as hip. I do recognize that. Mm-hmm. But the problem is the other 70% of America is dragging the whole thing down by their stupidity. And if they don't like get it by now, they're not going to get it.
Yeah.
Because see, some of them is making the argument of the globalists. See, the argument of the globalists is they know they can't afford all these motherfucking giveaways. The shit is out of control. You can't sustain that. They know that, so they call people useless eaters. Is what they call them. So the more you give in and go along, the more they hate you. Now they'll come out in public and lie and placate you, but they hate you because they look at you for being stupid, for listening to that shit that they know is stupid that they telling you. They know that shit is bullshit. Tell them anything.
Tell them anything. So,
tell them anything.
Anything. Mm-hmm. That's true. And, like I said, this society is so fucking microwave popcorn. People won't take the time to really to know anything in depth. Some people, I don't get it, but I guess so. Let me finish reading this one here. It says, the Biden administration goal here is to increase tax revenue by making sure no income avoids detection. How will the administration do this? It plans to leverage financial institutions like banks. This requirement would apply to all business and personal accounts from financial institutions. The proposal reads, including bank, loan, and investment accounts, with the exception of accounts below the minimum gross flow threshold of 600 or fair market value of 600. Okay, so if you only got 400 in your bank, they say they don't give a shit. Well, come on now. It says, in other words, financial institutions will report any flows in and out of business and personal accounts that are more than $600. Says the reporting requirement is far above any current requirements on financial institutions. Banks will usually just have to tell, the federal government, like, what's on their books, how many assets are they holding, how much did they sell, and shit like that. They would just have to basically read them their books. They're saying, no, now you report all flowing in and out. So basically, they want the banks connected to the federal government, period. Just straight takeover. Straight up. They want to take over financial institutes. Says, as the document itself states, currently only information of certain types of revenue, including 1099s, forms, miscellaneous, NEC, and K, require reporting. Some may view this proposal by the Biden administration positively. The dummies will. After all, this isn't an attempt to raise taxes. The goal of the policy is to ensure individuals pay what is legally required, isn't it? That's what the article says. There are two issues with this way of thinking. One is cutting off air to the market. The first issue is highlighted by economist Ludwig von Mises and cite that capitalism breathes through the loopholes. The great innovations and improvements in well-being made available through capitalism were not generated in a loophole-free system. Oftentimes, the most important innovations begin as a small startup with razor-thin margins. As loopholes close, the chance of these risky startups succeeding declines. You hear that? Y'all hear that, y'all? It's already hard. 90% of all, majority of 90%, that's statistically, according to the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 90% of startups fail. So they're saying, but it's through particular loopholes that make it so that risky startups who have razor-thin margins are able to succeed. And what does that mean? That usually means because if you are a business owner, there's more tax incentives. You have more things to write off as compared to an individual, as you are, as opposed to if you are a business owner. All right, you have more. You can avoid paying taxes, more taxes as a business owner. Okay, you have things like 1030 exchanges. They're trying to get rid of that too. How many of y'all knew that? I think y'all, if you do know it, it's because I told you that they want to cut off the 1031 exchanges. 1031 exchanges is when you have investments, in particular in real estate, you roll over, say you sell a property, and the way to avoid capital gains on a property that you sold is to roll over that money into a 1031 exchange, and then you go put that money right back into another property. This is how you avoid paying taxes. This is how you avoid capital gains taxes. But they want to get rid of that. Again, they think they frame it, and this is how they selling this shit. This is what this blows me away. They're selling getting rid of shit like that by saying, this is how Trump made his billions. That's how they frame it, to get rid of something that helps everyday people who have some get up and go in them, people who know how to flip a dollar, people know how to grow a dollar. That's who they're penalizing. But they frame it for somebody like Trump, which all these people hate. So they say, we're going to get rid of that program that helps people like Trump become wealthy. No, motherfucker, it helps you and I build wealth. Because anybody can use the 1031 exchange. People just don't know about it. Not enough. But y'all was riding with Biden though. Fuck Trump. Ride with Biden. This is the shit that he's doing. He is tearing down economic prosperity in the country of the free, of the land of opportunity.
It's the abolition of private property.
Yes.
If you take and confiscate people's finances, that is the means by which you do acquire some piece of this dirt you call your own. So once they confiscate your money, that's it. They intend on abolishing anything is private property. That's where they're going with this. That's where this whole That's why they have to attach the excess. Whether it was the program you were talking about just now, whether it's capital gains, whether it's even the potential of it, then that's some crazy shit. How do you
think about that?
Because you can't predict. You can't predict when you're gonna hit the lottery number
at all.
You know what I mean? I done invested in fellas and had a good idea, and the shop didn't work. Hell, I done gave money to the T-shirt guys at the concerts, and they coming back nicely for me. But you can never predict. But they're going to tax you on it. They're taking away our ability to accumulate private property.
Yes,
and the abolition of private property. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. You will own nothing, and you will like it.
You will like it. You will like it. You're going to love it. That's what he's
saying. And black folk, we're going to live to regret our inability to call the roll in our own house. That's the death knell for us, because we have too much dead weight. And if we have to depend on a inner black economy, well, god damn, 60% of the motherfuckers are sold on the Biden giveaway, if not more.
Yep.
100% sold. And anything else that may be profitable, all they got to do is put a racist tag on it. That's going to scare a great many other percentage away. But you know, like I said, the good guy was telling a cat today, in every situation, there's a good in it. There's a positive there. It may be difficult to see. And sometimes you have to go through some very, very dark times in order to see it or get to it. That's usually how success works, really. That pain usually precedes it, but you know, on the other side, we'll be a stronger people after, you know, all these useless eaters, you know, are carted away into utopia land.
Right.
The land of utopia, you know, the land of promises.
Right.
You know, so out of that, if you're able to endure, you're going to have a dynamite. You're going to have a dynamite species, a strong thinking species.
Right.
You know,
this is why I said people got to build up the reserves. They got to build your fuck you monies up right now. You got until 2030.
They got to build up their reserves and start building up your storehouses. Start buying, you know, dry goods and foods that you can buy right now. Because, see, when it hyperinflate, it's going to be too late. Once that money hyperinflate, it's going to be too late to build up anything, because you're going towards worthless territory. That's the danger. See, like inflation to a certain extent, to a certain segment of the population is not a bad thing, because there's more dollars out there you can bring to yourself. But when that thing starts to hyperinflate, you know, you talk about a loaf of bread costing $300. It's too late territory. So there's things that people can do now to put some security under themselves, you know, even if by some miracle, you know, because we definitely been hijacked, you know what I mean? And it looks like it's going to keep on this way. Now, unless by some miracles these hijackers are ran out of town, you know, there's some things you can do to make yourself feel secure, because when you feel secure, then you can look at the opportunities. But if you sit in an insecure place, it's going to be hard to see opportunity, because you're worried, you're anxious, you can't move, move.
Right. You grow the scarcity mentality. No, literally.
Yes.
You do, and so you'll be frozen. You won't jump on stuff. You won't get in. You won't get involved.
Right.
You know what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, and that's what they want to create. I'm just saying. I said that at the beginning. They want to just break people the fuck down so they can't think, they can't see, they can't hear.
Well,
right?
we are at war. This is war, the Jetsons style. Remember that cartoon, the Jetsons? This is
yes.
we are at war, you know. And the intent is to bring the American breed to his knees. They got to wipe our breed out.
Right.
You've always said it. Don's always said it. I've said it. You know, people have taken, and I've done it too, to be honest, in my lifetime. But, you know, took America for granted. You know, down with America, down with the system until you wake up and realize, oh, shit. I'm a little bit older now. You know, I got some things to lose now. I worked hard, man. I took myself through hell to get to where I am in life today. And I got something to lose. I don't know with this down with the American stuff. I would have been more specific. Change this about America. Change that about America. But up and just,
all that call for destruction and burn it all down. Anybody who's ever heard me on these airways know I do not like that shit. It would be some black power ass cats that call in and talk that shit. I would jump right on their ass. Bullshit. No. Because what you gonna replace it with? Your ass ain't in position. You ain't in position. You ain't got no institutions. You ain't got shit.
Right.
So what you talking about? Burn this shit down. Burn it to the ground. Fuck this, that, and fuck that. You have no solution, sir.
At all.
You have nothing in place, sir. You ain't got no land. You ain't got nothing. And you talking that tear this shit down. Okay. Okay. Now they trying to do it.
Now they trying to do it.
Where the black power niggas? Where they at now? Where all them black power niggas?
They paying motherfucker $4 a gallon of gas like everybody else. That's where they at.
You know what my retort would always be to these niggas? But this is y'all system. I thought y'all, you was the original Moors. So this, you helped America be what it is today through the friendship, the peace and friendship fucking treaty that you created with America. Y'all gave them the blueprint of how to become a republic. And how people can have this and have that and then have commerce and manufacturing. Because that's what y'all did. So why would you want to tear down something that you created? If anything, you should be mastering it. You should have been mastering it.
Yes, it's taking it over and perfected, really.
Right.
It's there for the taking.
No, these niggas lazy, though. That's too much work. Too much brain power. Like I said, these niggas don't want to build today. They don't really want to build shit.
Right.
It's the very few who want to build. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit takes persistence. That shit takes focus. That shit takes determination. It takes time. It takes patience.
Right. And it takes many. Many talents. Like, when you organizing enough, you don't organize so it can be like, sort of like the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan, when he came out, man, he was bad in his younger days, but he wasn't winning no championships.
Right.
I mean, dude was scoring 60 easily back in those days, but he wasn't winning any championships.
No.
He needed the right pieces around them. See, like we so steeped in fucking idol worship is the problem. We're so steeped in that every nigga wants to be the nigga. You see what I'm saying? And that's not effective organization. We need many talents. We need many leaders.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
In many areas. That's the Achilles heels with the black power folk. That's the problem. Some of them may be serious about it. The vast majority of them just hustling. The vast majority of them. It's not even worth listening to be honest. But those who are serious, that's their Achilles heel. It takes many talents to effectively organize. It's not just one talent. So you may be a good historian, right? You may be a good economist. You may be a good legal mind. You may be a good orator. We got a lot of goddamn orators in our fucking community.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You may be a good artisan. You may be a good craftsman. You know, I mean, the talents is unlimited, but they all have to, you know, work together. But we so deep in idol worship that we may get one that's cool, and I'm with that person. But guess what's going to happen? There's going to be another nigga who wants to be that goddamn idol. So now he got to fight another nigga because that nigga is idol worshiping, and you can never effectively organize. When you look at these damn communists, they into everything. These people just don't look at one thing and say we're going to take over that. They done took over your churches. They done took over your stores. They done took over your media. They done took over your entertainment. So when they need to go into motion, all these people come out and they in lockstep, and we're wondering how that happened. That's effective organization is what it is. You see what I'm saying? And that's usually the Achilles heel when we as a people try to get together and do our thing. We always have to be the number one nigga on top of the hill. And even that's a talent. To be honest, maybe it is somebody's talent to be out front. That's not everybody's talent to be out front.
It's true. It's true.
The motherfucker out front may not necessarily be the smartest motherfucker, but he's good out front. Here, read this shit. And you go out there, good job. You know, but when you go into our communities, that is the biggest Achilles heel. Instead of, you know, trying to one up and beating everybody, everybody has a piece of that puzzle. You know, this is a big ass goddamn earth that we on. Earth big as shit. Like fuck. Like, try walking to North Carolina from Washington, D.C. and see how long it take your ass to get to North Carolina. Walking. Walking, man. That's like 2 months almost. But, you know, but that's the Achilles heel, you know, with the Black Power folks. And they sitting here talking about tear it down. But if they take that Black Power and hook it up with somebody who's effective, you know, and just because you're trying to come up together don't mean you like the white man or nothing, but we deal with reality here. We deal with reality as it is.
As
like
it
that,
is.
Damn.
Real talk.
As it is. I can't go to your black ass to get a dozen of eggs, bruh. Where am I gonna go get those? The Safeway. Just like your black ass. So let's stop all of that. And then when we bring it back down to reality, it's sort of like what you just said, though. Now, really, you know, you're talking all this shit. Ain't nobody going to jump out there. You can't support me and my family. You know you can't.
Right.
What you going to do? Give me a final call and I keep 35 cents off of paper? Shit. That don't pay nothing. 35 cents. Take a bundle, you know, so.
Yeah, man.
Effective organization is really, really what we're lacking, actually. Effective organization, you can pull out wonders, you know, in this world, you know. You can really pull out wonders.
I agree. No doubt. We in overtime. I forgot. I didn't get a chance to mention it. That went by fast. We in the 12 o'clock hour over there in the East Coast, 9 o'clock out here out west. Let's finish off this little article. This is good. It said entrepreneurs are not ignorant to the barriers of regulations and taxations. When something is taxed, you get less of it. If any entrepreneurs are right on the fence on whether a new business venture is likely to be worth it, increasing costs even a little bit might be enough to persuade them otherwise. Economists call this being on the margin. Avoiding taxes and reporting on small dollar transactions, either intentionally or unintentionally, is another form of loophole. De jure businesses are required to follow strict tax reporting rules, but much like driving the speed limit, the de facto reporting often departs from the official rule. To understand the danger of making businesses comply with tax law to the letter, consider how difficult it will be to do business. The tax code is now so long that nobody, including government officials, are sure of its length. Look at that there. How can business owners be sure they're complying with the document of unknown length? Put simply, they can't. Therefore, not only will these increased financial reporting requirements raise taxes on entrepreneurs on the margin, they will also force businesses to expend more time and resources ensuring that they pay the proper amount of taxes. Any tax audit with access to every account transfer over 600 will crush businesses. You hear that? Any tax audit with access to every account transfer over 600 will crush businesses without a team of accountants and lawyers able to justify every transfer. Do y'all remember who your president said ain't smart enough or can't afford lawyers and accountants? Y'all know who he was talking about? Y'all remember when he said that shit? I do. He said, black entrepreneurs are great. They just can't afford accountants and lawyers. We just read how they said it will crush businesses who don't have a team. If you're not already very detailed oriented and you're watching every dollar in and every dollar out and you call yourself running a business, you're going to be in trouble. It's going to be difficult. Because then you'll be backlogged with shit with the IRS coming at you. Explain this, explain that. That's tons of paperwork. That's taking time away from you to have the ability to run your business. See, this is what I be talking about with Nubians, man. Nubian people, they don't be understanding. They like to dance with the devil under the pale moonlight. They don't get it. Don't get mad when he toss your ass off the dance floor. That's who was going to disproportionately affect. They love that term. The burden of this policy then will fall primarily on small businesses without access to massive internal legal teams. A policy that punishes small businesses like this may be good for large corporations, but bad for market competition. So they squash, and again, they take up market share. They're able to push out more mom and pops, more people who don't have 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 person team. Because usually, I mean, that's why I was an advocate of saying, when niggas wasn't getting that PPP money and they was getting all mad, remember that? All that shit. And I was saying that's because niggas don't run their businesses efficiently. They don't do real bookkeeping. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't everybody's thing. It ain't everybody's thing to track every dollar, to have everything it's just some people just don't want to deal with that. They rather run their company. You know what I'm saying? So, and so you'll get an accountant just to do your bookkeeping. I'm not telling you to get an accountant to do to get your books right. Because if you have your books right, you actually see where you're hemorrhaging money, where you're losing money, where you're taking losses at. You can't see that if you're trying to do it all yourself, especially if you're not capable. If you can do it all, you have the ability to, and you can keep it all in-house, that's what you do. Then that's gangster. That's a beautiful thing. Most people ain't equipped to do that shit. I was talking to Don the other day, and that's how, and she was talking, about getting my children involved. And I'm like, that's how you train your children. You train your children to be basically your CPA if you can. You train them up. Go get them learned so they can do that. And you can keep all that shit in-house. Well, these are things that you have to do if you're trying to run your own shit. To the burden of this policy, okay, I already said that. So it's another way for big corporations to crush the little guy. Okay? Not good. And then, like Mr. Lyer was saying, that it's the end of private property. They're saying here in this article, then it's the end of financial privacy. This law will be the end of financial privacy. The second issue associated with Biden's proposal is its effect on financial privacy. The administration's focus on increasing financial reporting is becoming a consistent theme. For example, the information reporting regime document also includes proposals for cryptocurrency reporting. All you crypto lovers, listen up. All you crypto lovers who thought that was going to be your escape out of centralized banking, guess again. That's what I said this last week, Mr. Larry. That whole Bitcoin craze and shit like that, it was all a setup. It was a setup to get people to fall in love with the thoughts of having unregulated, non-central bank currency. Get everybody to fall in love with that shit. Get everybody to invest in it, and then the Feds, central banks, were all going to take it over, and that's what they're about to do. That's what they're about to do. So all y'all thought who was going to be making these transactions without the government knowing and shit like that? Nope. Ain't happening. Ain't happening. I went to go open up a business account the other day. They was like, you own crypto? You own some crypto?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they want to know. What you holding? How much of it you got? What digital wallet do you have it in? Is it in the Ethereum blockchain? Where's that?
We gotta know.
Right. Says documents also include proposals for cryptocurrency reporting, which can be seen as a precursor to the crypto reporting requirements shoehorned in the what? Infrastructure bill. There's so much in that infrastructure bill. I said, Mr. Lowry, we're going to have to do a 2,000-part series to run through this entire infrastructure bill.
It's about 2,000 pages. Yeah.
It's 2,400. It's over 2,400 pages.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's so much shit tucked into that bill. It's not funny. And it's an imperative that we here know what's in it, because it's not about roads and bridges. It's about
government takeover
and the restructuring of society. So we have to know these things. We have to know what they're going to do before it's completely implemented. Because you have to be able to prepare. Said the increase in financial scrutiny provided by access to every transaction greater than 600 associated with personal accounts will provide an unprecedented look into finances of many Americans. Even the powerful political will behind the 2002 Patriot Act only led to requirements that banks report shit over 5,000. So he going far beyond the Patriot Act. 600. Patriot Act said 5. 5 G's. Much like small businesses, most individuals don't have access to a team of lawyers and accountants the same way DC politicians and bureaucrats do. As such, these new requirements are likely to hurt poor and middle-income Americans whose primary source of income is non-traditional. That's your Cash App. That's all y'all on that Zelly and all that other shit, all them other pay systems, all them other fintech companies. This is unsurprising given Biden's administration record of threatening gig work, for instance. See, and that's what, and that's the thing that made me mad too. That pisses me off because people didn't understand that you were supposed to leave the gig economy truly contractor style. But again, these idiots got duped into saying, well, I want to be an employee because I want somebody to pay for my dental and health. No. You pay for it yourself. Understanding that you have the freedom and the flexibility to create your own work schedule. You work when you want to. You work for who you want to. If I want to be a freelance or a copywriter, I can do that. You don't have to be. And these people got duped by politicians to say, tell them that you are an actual employee. See, they did that to make you think Uber was bad, that Lyft was bad, that DoorDash was bad. Yeah, now that little money that you was making, that extra G that you was making by your side hustle that you didn't have to report to the IRS, now it's all being followed. Every last dime of it is being followed. People cut off their own feet, Mr. Larry. They cut off their own limbs.
They cut off their own limb, and they don't even know they cut off their own limb.
That's what I'm saying. Right? Exactly.
I had this guy come work. He was a newbie in our organization. The guy came in with a big ass motherfucking head. He knew everything. I said, Slim, man, you gonna screw all of us up. And the bad part about it is you're not even gonna know you screwing it up when you're doing it. You look to me like, well, you're not even gonna know. So people are cutting off their fucking own limbs and don't even know it. In exchange for the euphoric feeling of nonsense. You know? Nonsense get people high enough, you know what I mean? People love nonsense. So they're cutting off their own limbs.
That they are. Okay. We'll check it out.
I'm watching myself, actually.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. They are. But they let these politicians gin them up. Let them gin them up. So they go, yeah, that's right. We should be employees.
Right.
We want employee status. No, you dummy, no.
Right.
But hey. It says some may argue that privacy is unnecessary because you have nothing to fear if you have nothing to hide. But again, individuals cannot be expected to perfectly comply with a document of unspecified length. Unfortunately, as the government approaches perfect information, perfect compliance becomes the standard. At one time, perhaps community banks or other small financial institutes interested in keeping customers around could provide resistance to this by generating political pushback or work around for customers. However, government policies have effectively destroyed a more decentralized network of financial institutes. Since the early 1990s, the number of small banks have fallen from under 10,000 to only 5,000. Now politicians are proposing to leverage their relationship with the few big players who are too big to fail. So we already know who that is, right? That's Wells Fargo, that's Chase, that's Bank of America. Yeah, those are the big banks. To examine every aspect of American finances, especially with lockdowns. The federal government already has small businesses, independent contractors, and the economy in general in their stronghold. Because of what? Lockdowns. This new information reporting regime will only tighten its economic lethal grip. Well written, Mr. Peter Jacobson. Well written. That's real. People they don't get it, but you know. Only thing they hear is we're taxing rich people and we're going to give you a whole bunch of social benefits. We're going to increase child daycare. We're going to make community college free. This is what they hear. They don't hear any of that other shit. But that's all they hear. And understand, I saw Big Sav, shout out to Big Sav wherever he at. He had posted in the WGAG group about communism, and it says mouses get caught in the trap because they think the cheese is free.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Snap neck. He thought it was free.
It's gonna be a whole lot of snap necks. You know what I'm saying? All we can do now is just watch people get their neck snapped at this point.
But who do they use to start shit like that? The children. The children.
Yeah. That's the big losers in this game. That's who lost, man.
Real, and they don't get it.
We done sold our children down the river. Right now, you got a son, what was that, Moses? Mm-hmm. You find a straw basket and push his ass down the river out the way.
Right.
Because we have left a tough deal for the children.
Right.
You know, to face.
But that's how they bring about this shit, because they radicalize the children at a young age, man, and they feed them this bullshit about how you will not be able to come up because, you know, the boomers or the generation ahead of you was so greedy. They were so greedy that there's nothing left for you. This is a straight up lie. I seen Tierra post this on Facebook maybe earlier this week. She posted something that said boomers tricked us into believing to go to college, to only be in debt and pay in $2,000 a month for rent, where we only make it was something in that regard. And then I was saying to myself, I was gonna type on the thread, and I kept this shit to myself, and I said, nobody told y'all to do that shit.
Basically, who told you to do that shit?
Nobody tricked any young people into racking up debt. You got to go into everything that you're doing having some baseline knowledge of the what could happen, the what ifs of it. What happened if I choose to take this major and I know that I got to be in school for X amount of years, and if I have to take loans, this is how much I'm going to owe, and this is what I'm going to have to do once I get out to repay debt, or just say fuck the debt altogether and then go do something else and leave it be. Like, you is no way nobody tricked any young people into living that type of life. But they get them on that because, you know, They get out here in the world and understand that, hey, ain't none of this shit just handed to you. You got to go out there and really go pave your way. You really have to be, once you get out of school, super and hyper focused and ambitious to be able to make that money you paid worth your while. Otherwise, it was all for naught. And you racked up all this debt and all this stuff, and you get whatever, you know what I'm saying? What was going on with these young folks. But this is how they got the millennials to say, fuck capitalism, fuck the ability, fuck free markets. We want it, so we have welfare states. I want everything subsidized. That's only fair. It's only
until everything is subsidized. You want that shit until.
Right. It's wild. But they radicalize the children.
Mm-hmm.
So they can revolt. And you know what I'm saying? But and it's really going on in junior high and high schools. Did you hear about the teacher they caught? The Antifa teacher that they busted up either California. I'm gonna play the video for y'all real quick. The Antifa teacher. I like Project Veritas. Shout out to Project Veritas. They be getting it in. Maybe I'm finding these people. Where is it at? Find it for y'all.
We got to like introduce a measure of self accountability back. You know, just that down home teaching that we pass from the old to the young. People don't want to be accountable for them goddamn selves.
Right.
You see, and, social justice philosophy is built upon non-self accountability.
Right.
Everything places the accountability somewhere besides yourself. And so until we get back to self accountability, they're going to keep on being tricked.
Self accountability is too much like right. I did make that choice, didn't I?
I did make that choice, you know, and it can be a humbling thing. I've been there before. Self accountability is humbling themselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What do you say? If the people will humble themselves and stop doing that shit you're doing,
right?
Then maybe you'll do better on self account. Always somebody else's fault, somebody else's responsibility.
The greedy generation. Me. Oh, the greedy. You know, had at yuppies. Like I remember in the '90s, people were mad at the people. The stock market. They was mad at the prospects of people who made money on Wall Street. I was the opposite.
Right.
I'm not mad. I studied them. I wanted to understand how they took advantage of the system. The Reagan era was this era. It just really. And I was a youngster in during the Reagan, or the Reagan years. I was like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that whole period. That's when I would watch and shit like that, and I would see how they would manipulate the stock market and shit like that. I loved that. I got high off of that. I wanted to be a floor trader when I was real young from watching Trading Places and stuff like that. And then when I watched I found out Gecko. What was that called? Money Never Sleeps. You know what I'm saying? That shit. Yeah. Greed is good. That thing. That movie. I liked it. And when I looked back, I understood what nation meant and how you took advantage of deregulation and the opportunities it created. And that's when I really started to learn. I had to be about my daughter's age. My daughter's 12. That's paying attention to politics and understanding how, and I had to understand why I'm being from the so-called hood and people hate Ronald Reagan. I'm like, because he cut welfare and he did all these things, and he was evil. I know he put the drugs in the hood. Him and George Bush Senior, but story for another day. But I'm talking about on the economic side, he made it for people to get that dough. But nonetheless, I want to, since it's up my way, of course, Sacramento, state capital of California. But this is where they start to brainwash the children into radicalization, all this stuff in the guides of equality, equity, inclusion. But I want you to hear saying would think to any old body. Here we go.
Mushroom controversy in Sacramento. An undercover video and interview keeps an Antifa flag in his classroom and encourages part in protests. Tonight, parents are outraged. The district is investigating.
CBS 13's Anna Giles is live in Natomas with what happens next.
Yeah, the district is aware of the video, but they're not saying much about the content. The video apparently shows a teacher here at Inderkum High School having a conversation off campus about what he tells his students.
I have 180 days to send him into revolutionary.
These comments are making parents fear.
So you didn't hear what he said. He's 180 days to turn them into revolutionaries. That's what he said. I got 180 days to turn these little fuckers into revolutionaries. Just finish listening.
Furious. An organization edited this video. They say it shows Inderkum High School Gabriel Geip having a conversation off campus.
I have an Antifa flag on my wall, and a student complained about that, and he said it made Baptists feel uncomfortable. So if you feel uncomfortable, I don't.
Natomas parents say they're disturbed by extreme political beliefs being taught at a public school.
As an adult, as a parent, as something show that you're being like.
Video has been shared widely on social media, angering parents and communities all over Northern California.
I think one of the first things that really disturbed me is he uses fear. He uses fear for students.
Christopher Orr wants to organize a protest.
I don't understand how or why the administration at this school has.
From Natomas Unified School District says they're aware of the video, but they don't mention the employment status of the teacher. They go on to explicitly states whenever civic education may be controversial due to political beliefs or other instruction shall be presented in a balanced manner that does not promote any particular viewpoint. Some parents feel this goes beyond work safety.
And I've had like students show for like protests, food distribution, all sorts of things.
I'm trying to find the full-on video. Here we go. Is this it?
Breaking news. The Unified School District announces they will fire teacher Gabriel Geip. This in from the anonymous community letter just hot off the press. This teacher was placed on paid leave because of his actions and choices. Anonymous United will be taking the legally required next steps to place the teacher on unpaid leave and fire the teacher. From the evidence gathered so far, the political action guidelines which were aligned with board policy and educational code. This comes on the heels of us catching Geip on tape saying he has 180 days to revolutionize the students. He wants to scare the
Days turn them into revolutionaries. How do you do that? How do you?
And an insider within the school taking pictures of the Antifa flag hanging on his classroom wall, to which Geip said he wanted his students.
Staff should feel uncomfortable because we feel uncomfortable. I don't really.
Continues this morning. The walls of Geip's classroom were cleared of all posters and signage. In fact, we've been able to corroborate this. In fact, someone inside the video of Gabriel Geip's classroom, all taken off the walls. The classroom is now empty. They have removed all political posters from the wall, and outside the door, it previously said the teacher's name. It no outside C207. A lot of people say nothing to these people. That's a lot of the comments we see. Nothing. Well, something just did happen in the state of California, no less, where it's very difficult for a teacher to be fired. That's what this unified school district is announcing they're going to do. This would have been possible without Project Veritas, undercover journalists working alongside a tipster whistleblower on the inside of the classroom who reached out to him. 7 o'clock on the East Coast.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit they got going on in these classrooms. So they tell you, hear what he said? He said, I get them to go out to protest, you know, to get their feet wet. And this is why you see all them young people out there. They don't know what the fuck they're doing half the time, and they get them to believe in a belief. They get them to believe in this ideology so hard that, you know, they go they go full tilt into it. But some of them never come out. Some of them never come out of it. You know, but that's how they do. Like I said, you heard me tell the story plenty of times. They did it to me on the college campus of UC Berkeley. Professor said, "You motherfuckers said you are privileged. All y'all sitting in this classroom is privileged, and you don't know how to fight for anything." So it happened to be the time during Ward Conley and affirmative action, when affirmative action was taken out of UC school systems. And Ward Conley, a black man, actually got that, started that movement to get it out. And I remember him saying, your assignment for today, there is no class. The assignment, the class project today is to go out and protest. My black ass didn't. I was like, said, motherfucker, I'm on scholarship. You ain't fucking up my shit. So I can go out there and protest, you know, on the streets of Berkeley. I didn't come here for that. I didn't come here for that. So that's what it is. What up, Big Darian? He said, what's crazy because of COVID, they want parents in school at least. What you mean they won't let parents in the schools because of COVID in Ohio? Like the parents can't come to the schools out there in Ohio? Oh. Yeah, so you never know. You don't know what's going on in these classrooms at all. And this is just one teacher. You know, they doing them teachers are all, they do this all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
All day, every day. These little fuckers like that go into teaching just for that purpose. That's why they become teachers.
Right. They are trained Marxists with their asses. They not
yes, they
teaching.
are.
They're
and they go into teaching. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They go into education. Between them and the homosexuals, boy, I tell you.
Yeah, but unfortunately, man, once that mindset take root, you damn near ruin somebody's life. It's hard to get that mindset out.
Yes, it is.
You know, the whole world is at fault, except for your goddamn self.
Man told me I was privileged, Mr. Larry.
Yeah.
I'm a bitch coming from East Oakland, California. Coming from a welfare household. I'm privileged. I'm saying to myself, motherfucker, do you know what I had to do to get here? Fuck you. talking about I'm privileged. Oh, like.
But once that, yeah, the fact that they teaching that stuff in school is crazy. School should, there's no place. You should be involving kids in all of this shit right here.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that Marxist mindset will destroy your. It will make a person non-productive.
That's exactly.
They do not have the ability to go do shit because they can't get off the motherfucking titty. They can't, because all their life they've been taught that the fault is somebody else's beside my own.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck told you to go rob that bank? Well, I had to feed my kids, so I robbed the bank. Fine. How did it work? They caught me. Defund the police. How about this? You had to feed your kids, and I understand that you went to rob a bank, and they caught your ass, and they locked you up because you robbed the bank. Simple as that.
Right.
But this pointing the finger, this is how we're in this mess now. Because we just so busy pointing and looking outside, here, there. And they got us going in 700 different directions. What Michael Jackson say? I'm talking about the man in the mirror. Like, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at your motherfucking self.
Make that change.
You can't make yourself somebody else's responsibility.
Nah.
It don't work like that.
If I didn't get an athletic scholarship, I more than likely would not have gone to college. I know that for a fact. I wasn't going to, I more than likely would not have done it.
But here's the thing. You ain't got to explain that shit to nobody. You got your scholarship and you went. See, because that whole philosophy is putting us in a position that we have to explain and feel guilty, or somewhat we owe a debt to society because we made certain moves or took advantage of certain opportunities.
Right.
And we didn't squander them. So that whole philosophy of privilege and all of this, does racism has been here since we've been having civilizations. Like, man, goddamn, Africans was killing Africans. You see what I'm saying? Tribe against tribe. For as long as I can remember, tribes have been slaughtering goddamn tribes, but in terms of success and advancement, we can't have people making us feel guilty. And we owe somebody else something. That's between them and their God. I remember Don used to tell me that all the time. She would say, Lowry, stop goddamn, God bless you. Now, if God wants to bless another person, God will. That's on them and whoever God the fuck they believe in. And that's what we have to give our children.
The point of me bringing that up, bringing that post up, is that's how they got the younger people blaming the generation prior. And so therefore they have a cop-out to say, we need this type of new structure. We need this form of socialism. Because the generation before us tricked us. They lied to us. When it's like, you go into everything with eyes wide open, understanding what can be the outcome. You know what I'm saying? That's but I'm saying, everybody want to know, how did the young people, the 30 and below, get caught up in this rapture? You got teachers like old boy, and then you got that sentiment that the other generation was so greedy that they left you nothing, which is not true.
That's not true.
It's not true. Long as the opportunity is there, you can get things done. Now, it'd be different if they said the generation took everything and then shut everything off and said, it ain't no more opportunity for none of y'all. Y'all can't get in. TikTok, the game is locked. Ain't nobody said none of that. Who's stopping you? Who's stopping you from progressing?
Right.
Who's stopping you? No, I see. What up, IB? He's saying, okay, I guess. No, for real. What did the previous generation do so you can't get what you want? You mean because the cost of living went up? Because that's been happening since, like, I can remember. Motherfucker, a refrigerator in 1950 cost $100. Today it costs $1,200, and that's a cheap one. You see how that works? You know. So I mean, just don't get
you
that
got a lot of
sentiment
simple ass
folks.
terms.
You know,
it's going to go back to self accountability.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not an easy thing. You know, we would tend to baby and shield our children and do all manners of stuff before we would say, look, child, this is shit I did and this shit didn't work. You know what I mean? The last thing a person is going to do is admit a fault in themselves. So if they're not willing to do that, of course, they're going to teach their children. They're going to come up in the same way. They're going to be handicapped almost. You know, a lot of these children are handicapped, so the easier, softer way is to blame external factors, you know, so to speak. But there's a fallacy there. The fallacy is, how is it that you have some young folk, old folk, that's doing their thing? Because, like, if that philosophy is true, nobody should be able to be doing shit.
That's all I'm saying.
We'll all be fucking unemployed. We'll all be non-business owners.
Right.
The motherfuckers wouldn't have retirement accounts. People wouldn't have if that was the truth, all of us will be motherfucking goddamn like nothingness.
Right.
But if you got some that's doing and some that ain't, what accounts for that?
Yeah, majority of people I went to school with that I know, they came out with debt. Everybody came out with debt. Everybody did. It's what you chose after schooling that really either handcuffed you or whatever the case when it came to it. That didn't stop shit. It doesn't stop you.
Correct.
They've been convinced.
Some of the richest people in the world never fucking been to college.
Right.
Ross Perot, goddamn. Nobody in his family ever had to work again for the next 500 years. The man's so rich. He was a high school dropout.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't have shit. Y'all motherfuckers went and borrowed all that money. So don't blame the whole goddamn generation because you made a decision to borrow all that fucking money.
That's all I'm saying. You know, but I'm just saying that's the trappings. I'm saying that's the trappings that they were able to, you know, shift the minds of the young people and create that divide between generations. So, and then they got people like Greta Thunberg, and they turned these young people into major little radicals, right? So that's why they are the face of climate change and all this other shit. Pawns in the fucking game.
But there also is a group, especially in the Z's, that is coming up extremely conservative, and they're not promoting that. So you have a certain of those young folks who's not buying into woe is me. You know what I'm saying? Now, So we can't say one size fit all right there either. Just as many as you have grown folks that take different tracks in life, you have young folks. But I know for a fact that Z generation is showing some great promises. Their problem is going to be is that the system itself is going to be shut down. It's going to be something different. So they're not going to have the same opportunities.
And that's what I'm saying. That's the manipulation. That is the ploy. Yes. That's all I'm saying here. That's the ploy.
Yeah.
To use young people to push those fucking agendas. That's how they done it. That's how they've always done it. It's always how they've done it. Through the young folks. And so now, me sitting here as a 42-year-old, now I get to see it from that vantage point when I was once that 20-year-old that they try to radicalize. And they almost had me.
A good example would be when you look at the black conservative thing, not in terms of political banners, but just black conservatism, period, for what it means. That's driven by young folks.
Right.
That's not driven by old heads. The old heads still run around with fists in their hand talking about power to the people and shit. That's all driven by young folks as far as the black community. When you look at these black conservatives, putting their hat in the ring, these are younger folks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are not from the generation that we would think that we call the baby boomers. It's plenty of examples out there where the trend may be going opposite to what they're publicizing. We're dealing with a propaganda machine. Don't think the propaganda machine is going to show you anything other than they want you to see. They want you to see the young folks as a lost cause, so that way you'll step back and rely on these experts while they sit there and rape generations from generation for generations to come. They're not going to sit there and show you that there's a reason everything is warp speed. It's a reason for that shit. It's a reason why all of a sudden all stops are being built. It's because these people know that there's a trend down there that's counterproductive to their interests. So we have to censor everything. So they're not going to show you a promising generation coming up that's repudiating this fucking transgenderism, that's repudiating this anything goes lifestyle. They're not going to show that.
True.
You can see the effect of it. In the inner cities, we're blaming these folks for killing each other. Really, what you're seeing is a dissatisfaction from this anything goes shit. It has ran its course, but they're not going to publicize that. The revolution is not going to be publicized. Isn't that what Gil Scott-Heron said?
Yeah, the revolution will not be televised.
It's not going to be televised. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta always be conscious that we're dealing with a hell of a propaganda machine.
Very powerful.
You're expecting for them to show you something other than what they want your black ass to see, you're sadly mistaken. And if you think it's anything different, stand up and question it and see what happens.
Right.
So, in that regard, I have faith that the younger ones come up. They hold great promise. And I don't buy to the thing that all young persons is buying into this stuff. Our people are dropping out of school. You see what I'm saying? If all this shit was working, why the fuck are they dropping out of school more and more? Why are they dropping out of society? Because, see, society is flooded with this bullshit and they have no interest in it.
Right.
At all. So, Now, if a person goes and borrows
$100,000, because I'm sure I'm starting to look at him as a lost cause. So
I don't
maybe
think
you help me today.
it's a lost cause.
Maybe you help me today.
Yes, because
I see this shit, all this industry. I'm an industry baby shit. This little Nas X shit. You know, he got literally a song called "Industry Baby." He's telling you that he is industry made, and this is what they've created. Look at me, industry baby.
Then they're gonna take plenty down, but that shit ain't relative to age. You got plenty of old folks that it's not even worth 2 minutes of my conversation. To be honest,
I only look at my own children as trying to keep them on the right way. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at all these motherfuckers, these young folks out here. I'm like, whoosh.
If we don't know
anything
else,
I'm like,
we got to start training ourselves that whatever the propaganda machine is telling us, we will probably do well to do the exact fucking opposite.
Right.
I'm
turning to that older person who be like, "Get off my lawn, you young bubbly, you." You know what? I'm like, I don't want to be that person, but it's like you look at him, it's like you try not to be. You never forget the youngster you was. I think about the shit that I was doing when I was, 19, 18, 19, 20, 21, and shit. The things that I was doing at the same time too. And so you always say, you always hope that like the young people, it comes a click moment where it all clicks in. And it all starts to like make sense. And you see how society had us. Because that's how I can look back at it now and say, wow, they had a real strong hold on us. The culture, what direction they were trying to push us in, and things like that. This is what we talk about. We had to get our minds right. We literally had to clean ourselves up off of the shit that they had in store for us. You know what I'm saying? How they tried to destroy us. I was studying with Tony, Tony that come through WGAG radio, and he was talking about, he had a post a while ago, and he was like, niggas act like as we're older, we like to shit on the young people, but we was doing that same shit. And I said, true. I said, but here's the difference. We say you don't continue to condone that shit. I said, look how many of our folks did not make it out of that shit. They're gone. Like their minds are gone. You know what I'm saying? Like they literally lost motherfuckers for real, like that, 6 feet under. Look how many of our peoples did not come out of it. So how can we sit now and be like, oh, it's okay, that's the shit young people do? Now that we know that machine that we speak of that tries to entrap them. So I can't rock with that shit. Not to be cool with them, you know what I'm saying? But it's, you know what I'm saying? I understand you gotta be one, because like I got younger children. Me and Don was talking about this the other day, how far the age difference is between me and my children. I have a 35-year age gap between me and my youngest child. 35 years. So I have to still be tapped in with the shit that society is going to be moving through and what it becomes as he grows up. But that don't mean that I ain't going to push back against the bullshit.
And I see what IB is saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not saying that there's not an issue of goddamn blind lead the deaf, dumb, and blind lead the deaf, dumb, and blind. That is an issue. but I'm all going to say a lot of that shit is a goddamn lie. If you go to Chicago and you divide the murder numbers into the total black population, you will find that mayhem going up in that bloodbath is probably less than 1% of the total black fucking population. So how long we going to keep defining and shaping our worldview on a goddamn 1%? I came from Southeast DC. I've never been locked up a day in my goddamn life. But you're not going to see that. You see what I'm saying? When they come to help the little boys in the neighborhood, who they going to bring? Oh, here's JoJo. He did 20 years stint. He's here to tell y'all it ain't the way to go.
Right.
They're not going to bring the guy who's never been to jail. He the one to teach you how to stay the fuck out of jail because his ass stayed the fuck out of jail. But you're not going to see that. You don't see that majority. You see what I'm saying? So some of this stuff is propaganda. And when you take in that propaganda, you end up with a $100,000 college bill. So trying to keep up with the Joneses. When we got the Joneses, we just don't see that we got it because the propaganda is robbing us. So as it is currently, it is a pretty precarious predicament we find ourselves in right now. But shit, when they move, I move. If you don't get it, chances are you'll never get it. Fuck it. If you don't ask me, I ain't going to tell you. How about that?
At the end of it all, the reason why I even brought that whole scenario up, it was to show how the millennials and they got the young Generation Z to fall for it when in fact it's cutting off their nose despite their face. Because then again, it becomes a level of stagnation of opportunity because now they're cheering on policy, they're cheering on it, a structural change that's not going to benefit them. It's like instant oatmeal. You know, you like make instant oatmeal. It's good when the water first get in there and it's warm and it's good, and then after sitting out for a minute, the shit is all thick and mushy and it ain't no fucking good. And that's what this shit is. They fight, they vote for this shit, and they right. And it's nice when it first happened. It's nice and warm. They got them some nice little, extra universal health care. They got them some nice shit. But all this regulation and change that they ushered on in under the carpet of all that shit, not good. It's not good. And then that's all I'm saying. They use the young people for the transformation. That's all I'm saying. That was my whole point of it all. And I just see a lot of young people all over the country who taking it hook, line, and sinker. But you got a whole bunch of adults. I got a whole bunch of motherfuckers that's our age who cheering it on.
Taking it hook, line, and sinker.
that just cheering that shit on. The so-called Gen Xers, they with the shits too.
Yeah. Now, if you want to lay the blame, that's when you point the finger at. IB, don't skip a generation and go all the way back. That's where the ball was seriously dropped. That materialism, the philosophy of materialism, did great damage and left a big hole in the generational change of things. The Generation X is a huge goddamn problem, because they're the parents of the millennials and the Zs.
True.
So you can't just go to the great goddamn grandparents and skip over the parents and then, condemn the children. It's somebody else in between that shit right there. You know what I'm saying? And, out of control materialism, as I look back at my life, has a profound effect. You know what I'm saying? The money is flying all over the place. You're not going to be thinking on the bigger things in life until the money dries up and you fucked up.
Right. Right.
Then you turn into a communist. Then you know what I'm saying.
Right. That's what we thought. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied.
You
That's
turn into
exactly
a communist
what you
real
did
fast.
with these motherfuckers. All these motherfuckers that used to run the street, had money over fist, money running through their hands and shit as a 20, 30-year. Yeah, man. Like you said, yeah. That made me think of Mush, a motherfucker like him. I don't know what he was as. I don't know what he did as a young boy in New York, but I'm like, nigga, what happened in your younger days that turned you into a Bernie bro? And he would say it in the name of, I fight for the underdog. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and but yeah, they turned into communists real fast as they get older.
Then turn to a communist.
Equality for everybody. That shit wasn't equal. You know, you run around with all this money looking down on people. You look down on us bookworms. You know what I mean? We wasn't the cool people at all. But as life goes on, man, it's funny how that thing flips around. And
big time.
You know, they want communism, but no, Boss Lady, I've always felt that they were attacking, like, our generation. I felt that from a very young. I felt that we were under attack. I felt that our generation was a generation who will be able to look back into the 60s and 70s and decipher that shit. We would be able to say that shit was a setup. This was okay. That was a setup. We were the children of the revolution, so we had to be wiped the fuck out. That's how they brought all that same shit back again. Because it's the same thing they're running, is just on a different level. But they had to wipe us out. They had to.
And see, now I always say, and I remember I told this to Tony one time. We was in the AP, and I was like, nigga, to me, Gen X's, especially us who come from so-called inner city dwellings and shit like that, I'm saying we should have this shit on Lizak. And what I mean by that is because we came through some hard, some real, some hard shit. We done seen folks get murdered, the dope dealing, the hoeing, all that shit. Some of us had parents who was on drugs, all that shit. We came through all that shit, got our minds right. And I said, to me, it creates a level of uniqueness as a Gen Xer because you tough as fuck, because it ain't nothing you ain't really seen out here. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to test your wit and it tests your toughness. And that's why I said all that street savvy that a lot of us got, motherfuckers from the hood who was running with pimps and got that game from the street and understood how to turn a 7 to a 21 to a half thing to a whole. Nigga, you should be able to take that shit to corporate America and raid that shit and run that shit because it's all the same. The same trifling ass people, the same how you deal with people or how you finesse people or how you get motherfuckers on your team and how to run with you. To me, all those lessons that we got as young people in the 90s, you should be kicking ass in the 2020s and beyond. Because to me, I always see us as a unique. To me, this generation is highly unique. We are the inception. We are the inception of technology. You understand? So it ain't like we don't know this shit that's going on out here. It ain't like we can't keep up with the technological advances because we came in on the cusp of that. All of us can remember when there was no internet. So we saw the birth of it. We saw the shit go from a block phone, the gray block, to the first handheld, you know what I'm saying, to all that shit. So that's why I always felt that our generation should be running this shit. But it took a lot of our people out, as you just stated, Mr. Larry. It took a lot of us. But those who remain, you still young enough to understand every single person listening to this show right now. You got plenty of time to still take shit over. America has not fallen. It ain't fallen yet. You got enough time to go do whatever it is that you see yourself doing, getting, attaining, controlling, whatever the fuck that is, whatever it is. Even if it's just your spiritual ascension, all that shit is, you got plenty of time to do it. But just do it. Start it. Get it going. Get it going. So at the end of the day,
there's no time better than now.
Right.
Get it going. You can do it.
Because at the end of the day, you can give them all the big middle finger because they are coming. With that, that's going to be the show for tonight. Any parting words you got, Mr. Live, for the folks?
Well, I mean, you know, just keep your head up. You know, just keep your head up. And, you know, life has ups and downs, man. When you're down, dust yourself off and keep going. Success isn't falling down, or, you know, or success is really how you move after you fall down. That's what defines success. Can you get back up? Because we all going to get hit with a whole lot of punches. So the best we can do is just keep getting back up. You know what I mean? No matter what the cost. And turn off the propaganda machine. You know, stop listening to that shit, man. Those people are crazy. Those people are crazy as shit. They're lunatics. So turn off mainstream media. You know, tune up out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know we all like to bob our head, but, you know, come up all out of that stuff for at least an hour a day. Give your mind some silence for at least a half hour to an hour a day. You know, and get all of it, because they running a mind game on us. And while they running the mind game, they busy taking our shit. You ever see that commercial? I'm gonna let it go. You ever see that commercial? Keep your eyes on the prize. And that motherfucker say, "Look over there, look up in the sky, look up in the sky." You look back, and your French fries gone. You see what I'm saying? So they got us looking all over the place, while they busy monopolizing everything. And they got us on a whole bunch of dumbass shit. I mean, some dumb shit, man. So to Black America, I hate to tell you, but cut off black media, please. It's killing us. And your God spirit will come up in you. Man, right.
Roland Martin, Joy Reid, them motherfuckers turn their ass.
They killing us, man. They killing us. Come on, man. They listening to Don Lemon. Don on CNN talking about racism, and the dude is getting duped by a white man.
he kneeling
how did he become the racial motherfucking spokesperson? And he go home to a white man. And he's one of the biggest voices in the black community. This is who we're fucking actually listening to. That girl, the girl from Black Lives Matter. She made millions and then moved her ass right into the middle of Crackerland.
Okay. Right in the middle. Every time I look at this shit, I don't remember who sung the song, but I know it was a classic in the 90s. You know it. You know it. You know that you've been played. Get out my face. I don't remember. I just remember that song. You know it.
You know that you've been played.
Is it smooth? Zena said it was smooth. The chick. Okay. Every time I see it, it's just every time these things happen with this Biden shit, and they tricking niggas. I just think of that song. You've been played. You know it. You know it. You know that you've been played. And they quiet as fuck.
But that's a part of growth, right? If you play the goddamn fool, just look in the mirror and be like, you know what, self? Yeah, I played the fool on that one. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's the start of growth right there, man. The whole universe. If you would just do that by yourself, the whole universe will open up, man. But people ain't going to admit it that you know it. I like that one. You're going to have me thinking about that one.
Yeah, you know that you've been played. Get out my face. I just remember that hook. That was a jam in the summer of '92 or some shit like that. But, but with that, man, we're going to get on out of here. Thank you once again, Mr. Lowry.
Yes,
thank you so much. Man, I had a good time. It was always great building with you. Everybody that stayed up with us, man. I see you, boss lady. I see you, Zena. What's up, Dua? IB hanging out with us. J1, Miss Hudson, man, Ethereum, chopping it up. She-Doc, everybody that stayed up in the AP. I wish y'all checked out everybody. Hey, all y'all, man. Thank y'all for staying up, rocking with us. You know, hey, it's a pleasure to bring you politics, man. This is my one night a week that I get to rock the mic, and thank y'all for tuning in, man. It's always a pleasure. So, with that, we'll do it again next Wednesday. All right. In the meantime, in between time, everybody be safe. Keep your health up. You know what I'm saying? Get your walk in, get your workout in. You know how we do. And hey, man. Shoot past the stars, baby. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Shoot past them. So, you know what it is in the new day? It is the greatest show on earth. The Don Nicoleone Show. We get our medicine, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. All right? Till then, peace. All right.